Recording in progress.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Sean and Dane are with you as always. What's going on, man?
What's happening? We're getting a little international on it.
It is, man. This is fun. Yeah, we're gonna class it up. Joining us this week is Tone to Vries. What's going on, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. So
no complaints.
So you're out of the Netherlands, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Based in the Netherlands.
Okay. And how did you get involved in cornhole?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think like most people from Europe, they have been to the US in some shape or form.
Okay.
And so I also used to live in the US for a couple of years.
You were in North Carolina?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in Charlotte for a couple of years.
Okay.
And of course, cornhole sets are everywhere. So we also used to play there a little bit, but just in the bar, like everyone else. And then the journey really started when we actually moved back home because we took a set back with us from the US, a small tailgate size, very basic cornhole set. And I went on a weekend with friends and I didn't think much of it. And we brought the set and I told the guys, just try it. Please, just try. You guys probably don't like it, but at least just try it for once. And we went for a weekend and they played from the first minute to the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it.
I remember those first days.
Yeah, it just hooks you, dude.
It reminds me of the camping trip that we took. Do you remember that?
I do.
So we went on a camping trip and it was me, Dane, and two of our best friends, right? And I don't remember exactly how old we were. I think I was in college, maybe ready to go to grad school.
I think it was my summer before my freshman year of college. So I just graduated high school.
So it's for Reggae Fest.
Yeah, so I was like 17 at
So I don't, if you could just put yourselves in that state of mind. We're in college, this is Reggae Fest. We're going camping. No, mind you, we had not ever gone camping ever.
Yeah.
We didn't buy a tent or anything. We brought some blankets. We stopped by GFS.
Yes.
And we bought a ginormous box of hot dogs and we brought a portable grill.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's it. We went out there with open hearts and just like, we'll see what happens.
Even more desire.
And we brought cornhole boards.
Yeah.
Now my buddy was like kind of like an engineering nerd guy. Like he installed like TVs into like into his like car and stuff like way before this was ever a thing, right? So he made cornhole boards where he made a laminate top and he drilled holes so it lit up at night.
Yeah, so full LED board. I mean,
beautiful boards.
Yeah. And we're talking mid 2000s.
Yeah,
so like way ahead of its time.
This was probably
2007.
2007. Was it?
Yeah, the year I graduated. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Summer.
Okay, all right. Well,
I got you. I know what year it was.
All right, so 2007. So we have, these boards and whatever bags we're using, and we're playing just the four of us. Well, other people start wanting to play us. Now, mind you, this is before we ever hear the ACL. The ACL's not even a thing yet. As backyard players, we considered ourselves very fucking good. And me and my buddy Brian had never lost to anyone. Like we were the guys, we would go to any party as long as Brian was my partner and we would run shit. Well, these guys came over and they wanted to bet some money. Well, we ended up winning a bunch of money that we ended up turning into, we'll call it food. Yeah. All right. During the festival. Yeah. And we had ourselves a great weekend, but that was like our first like cornhole experience. Like probably the most money I've ever made was that one weekend.
Yeah. Very similar to yours though. Like as soon as we put it out,
great,
everyone kept coming over time and time again. And like all of a sudden, like our camp spot was like the hangout. Like everyone was just hanging out there. It was a lot of fun.
What is it that you find enjoyable about playing?
Yeah, that's a fun part about it because when you explain the game to someone, and we do a lot of explaining and trying to build a sport, everyone is like, what are you doing? You're throwing a beanbag on a board.
Correct.
Like, why would you do that in your spare time? And then it just changes when they have a bag in their hand and they start to throw on the boards and they throw that first bag. And all of a sudden you see something changes, the sparkle in their eyes. They're like, oh, I can actually do this. It's not that difficult. It is possible.
Every player, I think every player goes through like that personal stage of when you first start playing. Mm-hmm. You're not even worried about your opponent. No. It's a personal challenge. And then when you finally meet that personal challenge and you're like, okay, I'm somewhat comfortable in throwing a bag, then you start picking up like, oh shit, now this is competitive. And now if you're a competitive person, then you're hooked.
Yep.
Some people just don't like the competitive side, and those are the great like league people that are in your bar leagues, and they still like to go out and play, but they don't care if they win.
Exactly,
like
they're just there to have fun, drink a couple of beers, and call it a day.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
But everyone likes it.
And
that's I still have to meet the first person that doesn't like to throw a couple bags, and that's the tough part. You have to make sure that people actually start to throw the bags, and as soon as they do, they're either hooked or they still love it and they will still talk, very good about the game. And that's the big challenge that we had. But we could immediately see that there's something magical about this, that it's just people get so into it, and it's so easy, it's so much fun.
And what year was that?
Okay. Well, that's now, I think we moved back 2018.
Okay.
So that's why when a good friend of mine and he was also there that weekend, we said, okay, we got to do something with this. This is just way too much fun.
Okay.
So we just started to think about, okay, what can we do? So like everyone else, we started to make some of our own boards and then started to import some and started to build a little bit of a company. And then there was, I think it was 2020, we saw that it started to really pick on. And we said, okay, this is not really a side hustle anymore. We have to really consider, okay, are we going to do this full time or not? And that's when we said, okay, we'll just go for it and see if we can make it work. So we went full time cornhole, and as the first people in Europe, and we get definitely the help the ACL to do that, because we also we found out that the ACL was trying to expand internationally and really grow the sport internationally, because that's key for a sport, if you want to move into Olympics or whatever,
for sure,
to really grow internationally. So we contacted them, and I think we probably sent an email to Stacy somewhere 2020, 2021. And a week later already we had a call to discuss, okay, how we're going to do this. And the match was great. It was a perfect match.
And that's so early on too, because that's like the middle of COVID pretty much.
Yeah, it was still COVID, and it was
when the ACL was just starting to boom. Like they had been established on ESPN, things were really moving the right direction.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we're hearing like that
they were
did translate.
Holy shit,
translated to you guys, like knowing that the ACL are looking to expand. Like, that's awesome to hear.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. No, really, the COVID boom for cornhole also happened here, and also people here start to see it on Facebook and everywhere.
So do you handle the board operation then side of things for like the ACL in Europe?
Yeah. So we have our own company called Wicked Wood Games, and we sell everything for cornhole, so everything from super basic recreational to full pro sets, and the full pro sets are still coming from the US, and we have a lot of our own good boards as well that we customize and sell.
I had no idea that you were Wicked Wood Games.
Yeah, I've
okay.
I know
be completely honest? I thought they were like a Boston-based company.
So did I. I thought it was definitely like Northeast.
I swear to God,
like it's wicked awesome.
I swear to God, I thought that it was just. I'm like, I probably just can't remember the guy's name, but I'm sure I met with them, 5 years. You know what I mean? Like it was one of the. But like you are well known. I mean, like I know of the company very much.
Yeah, for
you guys cross everything. So I was not aware that you guys were. You started over in Europe. Has it always been Wicked?
Yeah, it's always been Wicked Wood. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool.
We one of my favorite breweries was Wicked Wheat from Asheville. So that's
how
we
just had it.
Yeah, we just
like
had
a month
Wicked
ago.
Wheats.
We just had it like a month ago. Yeah, it's great stuff.
So that's how we got the name.
I'm trying to remember which one we had.
It was when we were down in.
I know.
It was when we were visiting Ty.
But yeah, it's very
great into sours. Sours are really awesome.
Maybe that's what it was. I think Adrian had me try a sour.
Yeah, might have been.
I think it was. Yeah, for sure. Excellent.
Yeah. They have like a special place where they experiment a lot of stuff, and it's only sours.
Okay.
I think it's called Funkatorium.
Oh, okay.
And that stuff that they make, they do all the fancy sour stuff. It's crazy good.
I mean, some of those sours, man, you can get them up to like 15-20%.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
It's hard for me to think about that right now at 4 a.m. in the morning. But
okay.
Where is cornhole biggest in Europe right now? Because you're based out of the Netherlands. Like, is it biggest in? I'm curious. Like, what countries are biggest in it right now?
Yeah, good question. So I think there's a couple of countries that really stand out. Germany is the biggest one for sure.
Okay.
The structure is really good in Germany, so they have a lot of players, but also the structure with the local clubs and everything. It's very solid and growing quite rapidly. And then we have a lot of other countries that are, quite close to Germany, I would say. France is quite good.
Okay.
Croatia has been picking up really fast. That whole area is doing well. Slovenia is another country quite close to Croatia that's doing quite well.
Dane, where was Sweden, your boy from? The guy that you played in that virtual tournament from way back when?
Oh,
I'm sorry not to put you on
Oh,
the spot.
it's Atkinson.
I can't.
Carl Akesson,
Yes.
probably from Sweden.
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 Yes.
Okay, that's okay. I
Yeah,
couldn't
Carl
remember.
Atkinson. Yeah, that was
okay.
it.
Sweden is another hotspot. They have quite a lot of players as well.
Okay.
I just love seeing his videos of him
the
practicing in the curling
Yeah, it was so
rink.
cool.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that is like
it's so
that
cool.
is so badass.
This is like a long time ago. Those are for like very OG listeners. Like,
I mean, for the record, your boy did win an international.
You did. I know, that's what I'm
tournament,
saying.
like
I wanna
the
give you
first
some
ever.
shout out,
So
yeah.
you know,
You did.
that was
that was
way
a-
on early,
a long time
early
ago.
days.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's great. But it's really the couple of years ago when we started, there was just, when we did the first World Cup, there were only a couple countries interested to really join.
Okay.
And now this year in Croatia for the next World Cup, it's basically every country in Europe is participating.
Okay.
And there's only a few that are left out at this point, but almost everywhere it starts to pop up.
Okay.
So it sounds to me like there is actually a real possibility of seeing this in the Olympics here. Relatively, I mean, there's a chance.
You have to have an X amount of countries, and I can't remember the number, but it's actually
You do,
a
but
pretty.
it's sounding like it's.
I know, but it's a lot of countries, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's growing.
No, it's getting there. I was saying, but I don't know.
Yes. The problem is not the number of countries. The challenge is to make sure that all those countries have the sufficient structure in place.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's already a lot of countries that are part of the WCO and are a member. So getting to that threshold, I think it's 53, is not that big of a deal. But the big challenge is that in each country, there needs to be a federation, and that federation needs to be officially recognized within that country. And that's really the biggest challenge, because the requirements in each country are very different from each country, but also quite strict, because each country wants to have only federations that are really solid and real and whatsoever. So to go through that process from a super basic federation that you just started to a fully recognized federation by your Ministry of Sports.
Correct.
That's the real challenge.
Yeah.
That's
Some guy
where it
that's a
gets tough.
janitor by day, he's going to run cornhole events, and now is expected to be. Like,
Well, I mean, like we're just seeing
Pretty much.
the fingers reaching out, because like I don't know if you follow Cornhole India.
I mean, a little bit.
followed them? So, like,
a little
I watched
bit.
one of their. They just had like a tournament.
Yeah.
Pop up, and like you see them throwing. It's just like
Yeah.
it's very basic OG cornhole,
Yeah.
like from what we saw in the early days. And I'm like, that's the start right there.
100%.
And then you look at Cornhole India's page, and they're already like almost at like 1 million followers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like that could just boom up. I mean, I know a lot of Asia too is already just starting to pop up. Like Cornhole Japan's been doing very well for quite a while now. So like I just like seeing that its fingers are reaching almost quicker than I anticipated. Honestly, like I thought when we first started this podcast, I know everyone had this like big audacious goal of it being within like a decade, but I was really like, dude, there's no way inside of 30 years. But here we are. Like it could be inside of 30 years.
I'm
if we're
hoping
being
in our
realistic
lifetime.
about it.
That's like it was my goal. Like,
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to see it in my lifetime.
But it's it's just growing.
I
love
think
it.
it's also like, the Olympics is one thing, and it's really tough still to get there. It's a long process, but also indeed to see where we are now with the World Cup now coming up with probably 24 countries.
Yeah.
Like just imagining 24 different countries actually participating in this sport, I think is already quite crazy.
So let me and forgive my ignorance. You said the WCO, so World Cornhole Organization, I'm assuming.
Yeah, correct.
Who governs that? Like what is this? Like is that does that fall under the ACL umbrella or?
Officially, it's not. So it's a separate organization.
Okay.
But it's a lot of the same people that have a big role in it.
Okay.
And it's really the global federation structure.
Okay, so that would have more
for-
involvement with like USA Cornhole versus like ACO.
Correct.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And in the US, it's not. The federations often have far less power than the actual leagues.
Okay.
And in Europe, it's actually the opposite. So the sport is really centered around federations.
Okay.
So each country has a federation, and they typically really govern what's going on within their country.
Okay.
And it's more how typically sports are built in Europe.
And I know you guys have like it's a similar format, 6 signature events like across Europe. Don't you guys have one coming up?
No, we actually we set it to different tiers. So
Okay.
we have tier 1 is our Europe Open, which is our biggest event, like Worlds in the US.
Okay.
And then we have tier 2 and tier 3 events. but there this year, I think there are 14 of them already this year.
Okay.
So pretty much every country where there's interest, we are hosting a country ACO event.
And what are turnouts like for these events?
It differs a lot. In the countries where we are doing really well, we already see up to 200 players,
okay.
Sometimes even more. But we also still run country events where there's maybe 50 players.
Okay.
So it's there's still a lot of fluctuation, but definitely a lot of increase year over year. And what you also see is that these events, they're typically visited by players that really take this seriously as their sport. So it's a lot of the players. It's the top of the pyramid. So it's the players that really want to become professional within this sport.
All right. So tell me, who are the studs right now in cornhole in Europe? Like who's your Jamie Graham, your Tony Smith, your Mark Richards? Like who are your guys studs?
Yeah, so the number one currently in Europe is Roman Elsner.
Okay,
he's from Slovenia, and he's now up to 10 titles, I think, in ACL Europe.
Hasn't he won something crazy like 5 or 6 straight or something?
He did earlier this season. Okay. He won the first 2 events, and he won both singles and doubles.
Wow!
And then last weekend he won his. He got a little bit of a slump, but he jumped right back in and won last weekend.
Okay.
And he's also going to Worlds in Rock Hill this year.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you. So have you been to the U.S.? Have you been back to the U.S. since you've moved back?
Absolutely. Yeah. Been back, but I've never been to Worlds yet.
So what do you think of the level of cornhole in the States is compared to where it is in Europe right now?
So we are definitely still behind on the US quite a bit. But I think the easiest way to explain where we are coming from is that with our first event was in Rotterdam a couple of years ago, it would be impossible that a European player would beat any US player.
Okay.
And then a year later, we were in Paris, and we had our first ever win of a European player beating Trey Birchfield.
There you go. Hear that, Trey?
Yeah, Trey.
I have to defend Trey. He was really hungover.
Don't stand up for him. It's all right. It's all right.
No excuses, all right?
Maria Belac from Croatia, she had a really amazing win over her.
That's awesome.
And then last year in Trier, we had our next Europe Open, and I think we already got like 5 or 6 wins across the weekend from
awesome.
European players against US players. So we're catching up. We're starting to see the first roll shots and funky stuff now from European players as well. So we are catching up. But there's still a long way to go. So I think from the pro field in the US, the top 100, if we, I think our top 3 players could maybe get into that top 100 right now.
Okay.
But that's probably it. So there's still a big gap at this point.
Okay.
But Roman Elsner, keep an eye on him in Rock Hill because it will be fun too.
Oh, that's why I had his name written down.
Yeah, I definitely want to look at his stats and like just see like the comparison because like it's got to be a great experience for him just to see like what level that you can actually get to in this game because it is astounding.
Well, it's going to be a nice bar.
These guys are. Yes,
he'll be able to take that home and be like, "Listen, boys, we have a lot of work to do." Like you think like I'm good, like holy shit, like I've got my ass waxed. Or he's gonna come back and be like, dude, we're not that far off.
Yeah,
if you guys can beat me, like like you can go to like we're there. So it's cool. I like hearing when people do go to the Worlds because it is like if you're a cornhole fan, like it's the coolest event you can go to.
Yeah,
it's just
I mean going to Worlds has always astounded me. Walking through and not even looking at the pros. Just seeing everyone else there, and you're like, God, there's so many killers out here that are that you'd never expect. I mean, we always say the scariest person in the United States is an overweight gentleman that's middle-aged throwing slick side game changers because he can just melt every bag in around anything, and you won't know what the hell to do with it.
Yep, correct. Or a 13-year-old.
Or 13-year-old, anyone that's like no pubes, like you gotta be scared.
Yeah. Are you guys seeing any like young guys like having success, like a lot of it, like we are here in the States?
Yeah, not as much as you guys do.
Okay.
So we do see that the juniors events are picking up. So a lot of new players coming up. But we don't have the crazy talented guys like you guys.
But not yet. I mean, it's been a few years it took for that really to happen.
It did, yeah. Because honestly, like
But
when
you
we
do
first
see
started
that they
off, we
are-
never saw a kid at a tournament.
No.
But they're improving so fast.
Oh,
Because you
it's
already
crazy.
see players that are like early in the season, they played their first event, and then I see them 3 weeks later, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now you can actually compete. And then before you know it, they'll pass everyone.
It's cheating.
It's
Before you have old age and arthritis and like you can only turn your arm over so much, I mean, imagine being young and flexible again.
I was like, I remember when I used to be able to like throw a baseball really hard and accurate. I'm like, there's not a chance I could do that any longer.
What's the bag situation over in Europe? Like what are the popular series that you guys that's out there? I mean, I'm assuming it's probably similar to here.
I think it's quite similar. Ultras are very popular.
Okay.
BG is very popular. So a lot of players throwing Vipers. But it's now, I think a couple of years ago, there was still a big gap in when things would become available.
Okay.
And what you see now, when Ultra's coming out with Viper RS or Viper RV, it's in a matter of weeks. They're also here in Europe as well.
What are the shipping
For
costs
now,
for
I know.
something like that? Like for a set of bags, it's got to be pretty high, right?
It's pretty high. Yeah.
It's got to suck for you guys. So, are there any good European
any
bag makers
companies
right now?
coming out of the woodwork there?
There are. Yeah. We have some really good bag manufacturers. There's Slicky Baggers. They also have a ACL stamp.
Okay.
They're out of Switzerland. Make really amazing bags.
Okay.
And for us as a company, as Wicked Wood Games, it's really nice to have these bags and make them available for all players. But it's not where we make our money. So it's really on more direct.
What kind of do you guys sell? Like, do you guys like co-brand bags with certain companies? Then,
yeah, we have
like
done
all
that,
cornhole. I'm
but-
assuming. BG.
Yeah, we definitely did that in the past.
Okay.
But we're also just reselling a lot of them. So
Okay.
we what you often see is that you may be familiar with that as well. Is that the easiest way to sell bags for us as a company would be to just bring as many of one type and just try to sell as many of them.
Yeah.
But of course, every player wants to have that one special bag with that one special design.
Of course.
And that's the tough part about it.
Well, I think ACL Europe is like you're in those growing phases that we were going through in COVID, where there's like this new excitement, and like you start seeing all the stuff. You go on the website, like, well, I want that. Because like when we first started, like all the rage were custom bags. Like if you didn't have custom bags, you were kind of a loser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nerd.
But like now, like the custom bag game is just a thing of the past. I don't know what bag manufacturers did, but like kudos.
Yeah.
Because like you just don't see customs ever anymore.
Well, I think it was a little more like the ACL made it just harder to
I know.
put
You
customs out there.
dude. Trying to get like a set of bags like donated for my daughter's school. You gotta get their logo approved through. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like
Now, question for you on the bags too. For ACL Europe, is the bag stamp rule the same for the ACL here?
Yeah, it's
Like
it's
the
pretty much
year
the same,
requirements?
but we allow a little bit more flexibility.
Okay.
And that's mostly about the stamp here. So officially, we use the same rules, but we see a lot of new players that are coming up, and they still have maybe bags from 2023 or even 2022. And then we are not being too difficult about that because we just want those new players to come in and enjoy the weekend and come and play. So we do require them to play with the stamp bags, but we're a little bit more flexible with the stamp here.
Because I mean, I was just thinking like, what a great avenue for bag makers here that all of your leftover stock of those bags that are about to go obsolete. If you have a whole
Send them
other
over.
world,
Send them over.
yeah, that
Seriously.
you can go. They could have an
have a
extra
sponsor
year.
we're gonna talk to
That's
them
very
about.
true. But like, if you guys can get that. Maybe elongated to be like a 2-year gap rather than like the single year. I mean, that could be a great avenue for these other companies to just be able to unload stock that like they're afraid to make ahead of time because they know that it's just going to go to waste.
But would you know what would it cost shipping wise to get a set of bags sent over?
Cheaper to ship bulk than it is one
No, I'm just
set.
asking for one
depends
set. I'm
on
just
how
trying
much-
to figure out what
how
the
much you
cost would
ship.
be. Yeah.
But on average, you can calculate that it will cost at least $15 for a set of bags to
Okay.
get
All right. So it's better
For
than I
us,
thought it
if
was.
if we order in bulk, right? If you order
Okay,
in
yeah.
bulk, if you buy just a single package, it's going to cost you $40, $50.
Holy shit. So you're like, if you're
then you
buying
have
a
to pay
single
sales tax.
set. Yeah, I was gonna say. So you're spending easily $150 on a set of bags then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because the prices you see in the US online, they are often calculated without the sales tax, and we are required to add the sales tax on top of those prices. And that's on average 20%.
Yeah,
so
that's nuts.
God, oh man, listen, I can't say like I spent that much money on bags before too, so like I can't. Really
I mean,
I have a whole
Sean,
garage full. Of bags.
Multiply that by 5, and that's just for one set of bags that I've seen Sean spend. So
back in the day.
they're
That's
collector's
the tough
items.
part. That's the making money on bags is really hard, but it's it's part of the game, and we make it available, and we make sure that the bags are there. But for us as a company, we try to make money on customized sets and stuff like that, and more recreational.
So at your guys' bigger events, I'm assuming, do you guys have different divisions just like we do here, like advanced, competitive, intermediate? Was that how it had been structured?
Not yet. What we do is that we have like a separate category for newer players that are dropping in that are a little bit too afraid to really play at the highest level.
I gotcha.
So we do like a novice singles event.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, we typically throw everyone in the same rounders, and then afterwards we do create like 3 tiers of brackets.
Tiers out of that, for the rounders,
Because I don't know if you've been following along with what's going on at ACL here, but they're going through a little bit of like a format change, and they're no longer going to be having these set defined divisions. It's going to be based off like the player CPI index. I didn't know if you guys were kind of following that trend eventually, or if it's you got to get bigger before you do that.
No, I think we still need to get bigger. Our events are relatively small, so we can still manage it quite easily. When we see that will grow quite rapidly, then we have to make our adjustments. But I foresee that we don't necessarily will have that much bigger events. Like they won't increase like that crazy. I foresee that we will have just more local events everywhere, just spread across the continent. And then it's really just like the top players that really want to compete, they will come and play in the ACL Europe Series because they really want to win. And then that local player that also wants to compete may drop in for that country event where he is located, but they probably won't travel everywhere. So it's I think the frequency will increase of events here, but not necessarily the number of players for each event.
Now, I know a common complaint in Europe has been trying to find space. It's space limitation thing. It's still something we take for granted here in the States. Like, do you guys have any issues in Amsterdam at all?
Well, Amsterdam for sure. Amsterdam is probably the hardest place
I would imagine,
in the world to find space. No, it's a challenge, and it's also one of the reasons why I think we will not necessarily increase our number of players that much, because right now we're in a sweet spot where the local directors and the clubs, they're really able to find space still that's quite affordable for running an event. But we see it as soon as we increase, and for example with the Europe Open that we're hosting now, where we will have at least 300 plus players, maybe even 400. Then we already start to see this becomes challenging now to find the right space. We don't have those venues that you see in the US a lot, where you have just like unlimited space and you can do whatever you want. We don't really have that, so we also have to be smart about that. And often we just take advantage of what is presented to us. And when there's a club coming to us, say, hey, we have a great venue, we can do something here. The owner is giving us free rent. We just have to drink a lot that weekend. We're like, okay, let's do it.
No problem. Challenge accepted.
I don't know why. I always thought like the potential for cornhole in Europe is so big because you guys love knick-knacky sports. You know what I mean? Like you really do. Like, and I just feel like this is just, if you get it in front of enough people are going to want to try it.
Yeah, but they're also old school. You know, a little bit. Been around a little longer, so like there's a lot of knick-knacky sports people are already involved in.
Yeah, very true.
Now my question is like, I mean, the Dutch breed soccer players like it's their job. Do you guys not have like indoor soccer facilities out there?
Yeah, we do.
Hard to get into though.
Not that hard to get into, but they will ask money for.
It's expensive.
And it's also, I think, when we started all of this, we were also looking for the more fancy buildings, fancy locations. where in the end it turned out, we can host an event anywhere. It just
Oh,
needs
yeah.
a roof.
Get dirty.
And we need to be able to put a bar somewhere, and that's all we need.
Correct.
So sometimes you just need to go for, maybe the worn down places, but you can get it really cheap, and everyone is still having a great weekend.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah, correct.
And the Netherlands is probably a bad example because we're so condensed and there's just so little space that in other countries it's often a little bit easier. Like the Netherlands is definitely one of the tougher ones.
I know. I feel like a lot of people here like don't quite understand the geography like of Europe and how like really how much smaller like each country is. Like, yeah, we travel between states. That's them traveling between countries. Like it's the same thing.
I'm thinking like just how big is Amsterdam? Like I'm trying to think of like size state wise, like smaller than what, Illinois?
Yes, I think the metropolitan area is like maybe 1.5 million.
Okay.
So I mean, we're talking like Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like the structure of the city is totally different.
Yeah.
So for sure.
It's it's Columbus, but then it's in everything is in one tiny.
Correct.
Little,
yeah. Everything's crammed and stacked on top.
Yeah,
you guys
it's
like to
Columbus.
go up.
It's Columbus on like 20 city blocks, like not like
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's correct. Just everything's stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, we're a weird country, and there's not a lot of space. It's completely flat, so like no elevation whatsoever. But we do breed good soccer players. That's true.
For sure. Do you guys ever host outdoor events?
Yeah, we do, and I actually love them the most.
Yeah. We love them too, man.
Going back to
thank you.
Basics,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we just recently, a couple of weeks back, we had the best event ever. We were playing at the longest castle of Europe. You see in my background, you see the picture from that.
Yeah,
that's
sweet.
awesome.
It was crazy. It was a courtyard of this massive castle in Bavaria. And from there you had you can look across Austria, Germany, you could see everything. It was a beautiful space.
That's very cool.
We were allowed to play outdoor cornhole there. And those events are just, I just love it so much.
So hey, we find somewhere that the wives would actually come to a cornhole event.
We've been talking about it for 5 years. Like we just need to pick like the perfect event to go to. But like we do want to go over. We've been very fortunate enough to like go overseas. Our mom grew up in Switzerland, so like we've been over, so like we understand a little bit. So I want to go over for an event, meet some of the people and stuff. So I know there's been talks about us doing like a family trip to there next year, but I think it might be the year after that.
It might be. I don't think we can have the family in tow.
No.
To do a cornhole event.
No. Like I would like to bring our wives.
Yeah,
like,
the wives would be fine. Yeah, they're easy, but the whole family a little more difficult.
For sure.
It's really we have to keep an eye on our dad.
I can promise you. Yeah. I can promise you it won't disappoint. Like any event, it's really a lot of fun, and it's a community, and everyone is still very laid back and easy to talk to, and
correct.
You will have a good time for sure. And I also really have to give a shout out to the US players coming over quite regularly to help to promote the sport and play with us, because there's still a lot to learn from the US players. So to have those players coming over, it's always it helps a lot to have that cross culture thing.
They always
speak very highly of going over there.
Well,
too,
yeah, and I'm also proud. Like it's almost like Big Brother moment. Like I'm proud of like when the guys go over there and the ladies go over there and like they represent well and they're social and they're not standoffish, and I mean like that goes a long way to building a sport. That if they're trying to do this as a living, like every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, we're Americans. I mean,
and if you're a young
we're
ACL,
shitheads, but we're nice.
If you're a young ACL player, right, and the ACL reaches out to you and be like, "Hey, we have this opportunity to go to Europe," just say yes and go.
Yes.
Like you don't always get opportunities to go overseas, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you go.
It's worth the experience.
It's always an adventure, and there's just so much. You realize you'll come back home, and you'll realize just like how young everything is here, and like just how what I mean, like how new everything is here. And I know that sounds crazy, but you won't understand until you go experience over there. Like you guys are playing in front of a castle. You know what I mean? That's like probably way older than our country.
We play it like if our castles are like fortresses, like that are from the 1800s. Like that thing could be from 1600. Like it's way different.
Very true.
Yeah. It's from a long time ago.
All right,
I have to say, like, we're not playing every event in front of a castle.
No, I get it.
Really unique. This is really unique.
Oh yeah, we only brag about the ones that are cool. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's all it is. All right, so I got to ask you. We've asked this question a bunch. We've been slowly bringing it back. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Ooh, I would say yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
High five.
I would say yes.
Heck yeah.
Why would you say yes?
Because when we do a barbecue out here and we make hot dogs, we put it on a sandwich, on like a bun for sure, and we would call it a sandwich at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
Higher level, like an older level of thinking there, Sean. Okay, so that is, yeah.
I knew I was like going back and forth, Mike. I'm like, no, we have a good vibe.
Yeah,
He's gonna be on my side. You took
Nope,
Dane's side,
he's on my side. The
But
smarter side.
if I think about it now, when one of our favorite recipes that we do is like we do Mexican hot dogs. We just do like all these different kind of Mexican style toppings that you can put on it. And then when we do that type of style, we do call it like Mexican hot dog night. We don't call it Mexican hot dog sandwich night. So that's
because it classifies itself, like you know what you're getting.
Yeah, but it's also a type of sandwich. You just don't have to
It's not
definitively call it that. That's okay.
It's not. What do you miss? Like, is there anything you miss about your time from being in the States?
oh yeah, so many things.
What do you miss?
I miss game days on Sundays.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
I miss the space. I mean, there's just so much space.
Yes.
And I also really like I miss the friendliness of the people. I think that's underestimated.
yeah.
but,
You were in North Carolina. You were in like
The Southern
yes,
charm.
yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yeah, like
yeah. And I think a lot of people underestimate in Europe that they say, okay, they almost find it a little bit fake, maybe even. They're like, okay, they're just talking to me because it's not. But our experience is that people are actually just trying to make conversation and are actually being nice to you.
Yeah.
Well, the Dutch are
that's-
generally a very direct people. Like they,
Yeah.
they don't hold anything back. They just tell you to your face, like what's going on. So
Yeah.
like, I'm sure it's completely different hearing somebody like turn it up a little
Well,
bit.
yeah,
I
in
mean,
the
it's
States,
just
people, it's
kinda-
like, hey, how you doing? It's like you're gonna expect to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing fine.
yeah.
How are you? And like someone else is more direct. They're gonna be like, well, my car broke down last week. You know, it's,
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
call it pleasantries, where like you don't actually give a shit what they're gonna say. It's just a polite thing to say. You're just like, hey,
What about? Is there any particular
Yeah.
foods that you miss?
Or there's a particular food. I mean, I miss everything from Trader Joe's for sure.
All right, oh boy. All right. Nice.
So we went back to Charlotte a couple of times to visit friends,
Nice.
and then the first thing we would do is go Trader Joe's.
What's the best
shopping.
thing at Trader Joe's? If you had to buy one thing, what are you going with?
Oh,
All right, I'll give you three. You can get three things.
they're like the pretzels, the chocolate pretzels.
Yes,
They're really amazing.
I've heard of them.
That would be number one for sure. They have this, I don't know what the name is, but they have a hot sauce that's
Oh,
really,
really?
great that we always get when we stack our suitcase and bring
Nice.
a full
Nice.
load back. And the avocados, because the avocados are always like surprisingly cheap and always really good. So
Okay.
that's the one I would.
Okay,
it's
I like
those
that.
avocados from Mexico.
I
They
just-
They
right
just,
up there.
they
I don't
just
know.
shoot 'em
Maybe
up.
by now they're
Yeah, it might be a
super
little more
expensive
expensive
than
now.
everything,
Yeah, so,
everything's a little bit more
times
expensive.
times suck out here right now. So
Oh my
that's a lot of
goodness.
fun.
What brought you to the States in the first place? Was it a job or?
Yeah, it was for my work. I was working for a lighting manufacturing company,
Okay.
and they, for some reason, had a facility in Gaffney, South Carolina,
Okay.
and we had a bunch of other brands that were not launched in the US yet. So they asked me to go over there and see if we could launch it over there.
Okay.
So that's what we did. So I used to live in Charlotte, and then I would drive back and forth to Gaffney every day.
Okay.
See the beautiful beach water tower, and had some fun there.
Do
But
you,
honestly,
do you have
like-
children?
Yeah, I have two little girls. One is 6, one is 2.
Okay, so this was before like you had kids then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, they're both made in USA. So the
Hey,
So they're
attaboy.
American
All
citizens
right,
then.
there we go.
yeah,
Kind
no, they're
of.
not citizens.
No,
they
no,
were
no.
born.
No.
They were born here.
I got you.
But
I got
the
you.
funny thing was,
There's a
when we moved back
workaround.
Exactly. Yeah.
Char-
When we moved
hey,
back
it's
to
like
the-
Charlotte, North Carolina, the city of love.
Yeah, I mean, you actually came into Charlotte at the perfect time. Like it was like their big boom was 2010 to like 2017. They built so much shit in Charlotte,
It's crazy.
and it's an awesome city.
It is.
Yeah, and as soon as Cam Newton left, it became a mess.
Yeah,
But
you were there during the hotbed.
Are
you know?
you all right? So are you a Bryson Young believer? Do you think he's going to make a comeback?
I think he already made a comeback.
He did last year. End of last year, he started playing well.
He can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he can do it.
Okay.
I don't think he will be the problem. I think the bigger problem they have is more up high in the building.
We're from Cleveland. We get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're good.
Yeah, I feel sorry for you guys.
No, thank you. Yes.
But,
so do we.
Yeah. We'll
I think
take your pity.
we can shake hands.
Well, Tone, thank you very much. I know it's super early for you. Thank you for getting up early, joining us. This was a lot of fun.
No, thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. And if you ever want to come over to Europe, please reach out.
No, I'm going to. We need to plan something. We
honestly,
do.
like Netherlands has been on my short list. Like
I know, me too.
It's definitely there for somebody. Like I have to go visit in my lifetime, and it needs to be sooner rather than later. So,
yep, not
If
getting
I'm
any younger.
honest, I would probably not pick the Netherlands as the first country to travel to in Europe. I think there's other countries there.
I've been to quite a I've been to a
Yeah.
few. So like it's just on the list for sure.
Okay. If you come here, please let me know, and we'll make sure you will make the best of it.
For sure.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Don't just don't do all the American standards.
No.
No, that's not how I
stuff,
travel.
because
I
no,
actually, so I'm one of the rare breeds that travels without an itinerary.
Oh, great.
So I like to travel and then just figure out. I ask the locals what to do and go figure it out. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a good mentality. I love that.
Hell yeah. All right, folks. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll be back next week with more audio gold. But until then, we hope you throw it straight. That's nothing but four baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.